What's up, y'all? Cam and Cris.
Cris and
back
Cam.
again.
Back again.
Yeah, we got this sad story of Speaker Knockerz. Who is it? Rick and Morty said,
Yeah.
check this out. Let's see. Shout out to Morty and Rick.
Since
Speaker Knockerz was one of the
Right, and we don't know what happened to him. You always be like, where are they now?
I do.
You always be wanting to know.
I do.
It never be a good outcome.
They be young and talented.
Yeah, when they talk about
And then they
street
be
fathers
stuff.
of internet.
And it's like, well, he been talking about this since 11 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
You ready?
Yes.
Speaker Knockerz was one of the godfathers of internet rap and helped create the new wave of melodic hip hop. But right as he was about to take his career to the next level, he tragically passed away, and his exact cause of death is still a mystery to the fans. Since then, his music has inspired an entire generation of artists and created.
Was it like what's old boy that died on the couch? Rich Homie Quan?
No, but they said his was an overdose, didn't they?
Yeah.
But
But I'm saying he just died. Nobody know why. Like, gotta be something.
Gotta be something.
What
Well,
coroner's
autopsy,
out?
right. I mean, okay, let's listen.
The blueprint for modern rap. Speaker Knockerz was born in New York and grew up in the Bronx. He was always into music thanks to his dad.
Oh, so people said Carolina.
That people said, one person said Florida. I thought, and somebody said Carolina, and somebody said New York. I heard a couple of different. That's why
So
I was
they say
like,
he grew up in the Bronx.
they say he grew up in the Bronx. Okay, well, let's.
Knockerz was born in New York and grew up in the Bronx. He was always into music thanks to his dad, who was also rapping and making beats when he was a kid. But when Speaker Knockerz was only 5 or 6 years old, his dad caught a case and ended up getting 10 years in prison. Not long after that, his mom moved the family to South Carolina to give him a better place to grow up and avoid ending up in the streets. Speaker Knockerz started getting serious about music in high school and taught himself how to make beats. But he wasn't just an artist. He was also studying what music his friends were into and what was buzzing on the internet. Around that time, Soulja Boy had just blown up off his Crank That dance, and Speaker Knockerz took a lot of influence from the style and marketing tactics. So, he wanted to find out how Soulja Boy created his sound and found out he used FL Studio to make beats. So he downloaded a cracked version and started getting to work. At first, he was just messing around and having fun with it. But the more he learned, the more he realized that music was what he wanted to do with his life. He started making beats every day after school and continued working on his production skills. But he also started making his own music too and experimenting with autotune to create a whole new flow. He decided to drop out of high school to focus on music, which his mom didn't like. She even kicked him out of the house for a while, and he was forced to make it on his own. But deep down, Speaker Knockerz knew he was onto something with the music and had to keep grinding. He tried getting a regular job, but knew working a 9-to-5 wasn't for him. So he put all his energy into making beats so he could find a way to support himself through music. He started dropping 3 to 5 beats per day online and even spent 2 straight summers sitting inside working on music. He was putting his tracks up on SoundCloud, a website where rappers could search and find beats. He just kept grinding until he had hundreds of beats online, and when he made his first sale for $50, he invested it right back into buying better speakers. His dad got out of jail in 2010 and reunited with his sons. He even started helping Speaker Knockerz work on his own music and showed him how to mix and master his tracks. With his dad's help, Speaker Knockerz released his first mixtape, Flight Delayed, under the name Jamal Jr. He was still building a fan base, so the tape only got a few hundred plays when it first dropped. But even though his own music wasn't getting much traction, his career as a producer was starting to take off. Around that time, he changed his name to Speaker Knockerz and created the DJ tag that he later became known for. His first big break as a producer came in 2011 when Meek Mill rapped over one of his beats on his song Tony Montana from his Dream Chasers mixtape. That was a huge win because Meek Mill blew up and went mainstream right after that. And suddenly, everyone was looking for a Speaker Knockerz beat. He went on to produce tracks for 2 Chainz, French Montana, Gucci Mane, Young Dolph, and many more. By the time he was 17, he was already selling beats consistently. And according to one source, he made over $40,000 in 6 months. That was enough to help him get his own place and even buy his dream car, a black Camaro. But even though he was making major moves as a producer, Speaker Knockerz still had dreams of blowing up as a rapper. So he kept dropping his own music on the side and figured out creative ways to get people to pay attention. He watched Soulja Boy blow up with a viral dance move, so he started sending his music to popular dancers who had a buzz on the internet. Speaker Knockerz sent his music to a popular pop dancer from Chicago named Kimo who started making videos dancing to his songs. He also started producing for other local Chicago artists like Boss Baca, which helped him build a large fan base in the city. He started going out to Chicago to perform, where he linked up with another popular Vine star and singer named Tony Romiti. Tony started making vines, dancing, and lip-syncing to his music, which helped him blow up even more. They even collabed on a track called Scared Money and exposed his sound to a whole different audience.
Hell no.
Speaker Knockerz would capitalize on the buzz by dropping back-to-back mixtapes in 2013, Married to the Money and Finesse Father. He also started dropping videos that were running up crazy numbers. First, he dropped his breakout hit, Rico Story, in September. But a few months later, in December 2013, he dropped a track that would make him a superstar, Lonely. Lonely was a huge hit and helped make Speaker Knockerz a household name. He was one of the first artists to mix auto-tune flows with a production inspired by trap and drill music. With the help of Tony and other creators on Vine like Reggie Coos, Lonely became a viral sound and internet meme, helping it blow up even more. Speaker Knockerz knew he was making great music, but he didn't realize he was about to change the sound of rap forever. Even though he was getting millions of views, he still wasn't signed to a major label. Instead, he wanted to stay independent and build his own brand. He set up his own indie label, Talibandz Entertainment, and released all his music independently through the internet. So, Speaker Knockerz was well on his way to becoming a triple threat, a superstar rapper, producer, and a record executive. He said in an interview that he isn't signed to anybody but himself, and he doesn't need a big name to get popular. So, he clearly had the vision and wouldn't let anyone stop him from reaching the top. His videos were consistently going viral, and by selling beats, he had a way to make money without signing to a major label. It seemed like Speaker Knockerz was in the perfect position to take over the music industry, but at the height of his fame, his life and career were suddenly cut short before he could reach his full potential. Although Speaker Knockerz was finally starting to live his dreams, life wasn't always easy. The sudden overnight fame made some family members switch up and start acting different. It made it hard for him to trust people, which only got worse after he found out his girl was cheating on him. According to his friends and family, in the months before his death.
That's that song that we did when he was. Oh, that's the one.
How could you?
Yeah, he shouldn't have been messing with that cougar.
Yep.
After he found out his girl was cheating on him. According to his friends and family, in the months before his death, Speaker Knockerz seemed to be depressed and wasn't acting like himself. There were even rumors that he started abusing drugs to deal with the stress of becoming famous overnight. He still kept grinding and dropped the track Erica Kane in March 2014. It was another instant hit, but fans had no idea it would be the last song he would ever drop while he was alive. A few days after the song came out, rumors had started going around the internet that Speaker Knockerz had gone missing and no one knew where he was. Fans knew it was serious after his mom posted about it on social media and confirmed that he'd been missing for days. She wrote on Facebook, "It's not like him not to communicate or come home for this long period of time. I pray that my son is okay." The day he went missing, he had dinner with his family for his dad's birthday. He dropped his dad and brother off at home and told him he would be right back because he left something important. But he never came back, and no one ever heard from him again. The next morning, he had studio time booked and a business meeting lined up and didn't show up for either. So his family knew something wasn't right. No one could get in contact with him, and his family started to get worried. Eventually, they called the cops, who went to his home in South Carolina to look for clues. When they knocked on the door, no one answered, so they forced their way in. When they searched the house, they found Speaker Knockerz dead in the garage, right next to his black Camaro. The news shocked the world because he was only 19 at the time of his death and had his whole life ahead of him. Even though his family confirmed the tragic news, they didn't reveal much information about how he died or what happened leading up to his passing. So, theories began going around the internet to explain what might have happened. Some said it was the result of an overdose due to his addiction to lean. Others say it was a suicide and he died from carbon monoxide poisoning after leaving his car running in the garage. The coroner later confirmed that there were no signs of foul play, and his official cause of death was a heart attack. 19-year-olds don't usually die of a heart attack unless there are drugs involved. Lean is known to slow your heart rate, which is where the rumors of an overdose came from. But the coroner also confirmed that he had no drugs in his system at the time of his death, and it was the result of natural causes. His family has also been very quiet about what really happened to Speaker Knockerz, but they've been clear that it was not drug-related, and most of the rumors are complete cap. On the 9th anniversary of his death, his mom, Misha Wilson, aka Mama Knockerz, appeared on the Drea O show where she talks about her son's death and legacy in music. She said,
reading some of the things that people say, it's like whatever they put out on the media, in the media, that people believe it. And then when I see some of the things that they say, it's not true at all. Like 95% of the things that they say is not true. My son did not die of any type of drug substance or anything like that. And he did not have a heart attack. But I just, want to clear that up, but that's not what happened to him.
But even though it was a tragic situation, there was still a silver lining. Because he stayed independent and never sold his masters, his family gets 100% of the profits from his music catalog. At the time of his passing, he had about 49 tracks available online, and his family continued to drop his unreleased music. They premiered a video for Erica Kane a few months after his death, and his final mixtape, Married to Money 2, came out later the same year. Speaker Knockerz was only active in the rap game for a few years, but the music he dropped inspired a whole new wave of artists.
Wow.
His melody-driven rap style wasn't mainstream when he was alive, but since then, many popular artists have blown up using a similar sound and credit Speaker Knockerz as a major inspiration. A few months after his death, Kodak Black released a remix of Lonely called Off of 14. Kodak blew up not long after that, and in the next few years, more and more artists would give Speaker Knockerz the flowers he deserved. When A Boogie with the Hoodie first came out, many people compared his sound to Speaker Knockerz. He was asked about it in an interview with The Breakfast Club, and A Boogie said he took it as a compliment because he was bumping Speaker Knockerz all the time when he first started to rap.
It's crazy because when I came out, that's who I was listening to too. So that's why I was saying, like, it's all a cycle.
Right.
You listen to Speaker Knockerz?
Yeah, facts. Even if he was out right now, like, it would have been like the same thing.
Oh my God, he'd have been huge. God bless the dead. Speaker
Or it
Knockerz
would have been the
passed
same
away.
thing.
You think it's a compliment when people do that?
Of course, because the boy real. Feel me? What can I say?
In 2016, Lil Uzi Vert shouted him out on an unreleased track called Alone Time, and Denzel Curry also rapped about him on the song Naughty Head. On Alone Time, Uzi rapped, rest in peace to Speaker Knockerz. Got your bitch all on my arm. Lil Uzi, he just be wildin'. He got like all the options. Yeah. On Naughty Head, Denzel said,
Wait, what? What's that? Huh?
We need a translator for what Lil Uzi said.
Okay.
First of all, it started with
It started because I thought a boy was just saying but then I actually started up there and I was like, oh, okay, no, that's part of the lyric.
and then he just said,
Yeah, I got
Then he
your
ended with,
beat
yeah.
on my arm. Look, Uzi, he talking about himself.
maybe it sound better in the music versus us.
But why
reading
I
it.
got your beat on my got your beat on my arm, Lil Uzi
Maybe
he
just
just
Speaker,
be-
rest in peace, Speaker Knockerz was the only
was
thing.
the yeah, maybe that's
Everything
all
else
it
just
should've
went
been.
with the song.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
That
that's
don't
I'm
go
gonna
together.
that's what I'm gonna say.
Colin, he got like all the options. Yeah. On Naughty Head, Denzel said,
Okay.
bitches get me sloppy, my pockets on Andy Milonakis.
Oh.
Bumping Speaker Knockerz, Rico story when I see the coppers. In an interview with The
well,
Fader,
okay.
Roddy Ricch listed Speaker Knockerz as one of his main influences alongside some of the biggest names in hip hop. When asked what he listened to growing up, he said, I'm pretty young, so I was listening to Speaker Knockerz, Future, Young Thug when he first came out. I listened to Lil Wayne a lot when I was a kid. Future, Thug, and Wayne are three of the most respected artists in the game. So the fact that Roddy put Speaker Knockerz in that same category says a lot about his impact on the new generation. Even rappers who you might not expect to be inspired by that wave have given Speaker Knockerz his credit. In a recent interview with Billboard, T Grizzly said that Rico's story was one of the best storytelling
They
rap
said
songs
we gotta
of all
do
time.
that.
So even though he didn't
Rico's
live long
story.
enough to watch it all unfold, Speaker Knockerz had a legendary run that gave birth to a whole new sound. Fans may never know the exact details about his
Wow.
death, but his memory
That's
will live
crazy.
on through the music he left behind.
Wow. What I want to know is nobody in his family had
Foul
keys to
play.
his house? Like, how did y'all let him be just missing for days and he was literally in his garage?
Hmm.
You know, I don't understand. Let me tell you something. I'm speaking as a mother. When Cris, I gotta have access to his house. Now, if he
Saying
got a
was
wife,
19, I'm pretty sure
Right.
they had keys. to his
they
house.
had to. Now you get married and you got a family. That's something different. I can't just be using the key. I should have a key as an emergency. I can't just walk in your house. But how if he was missing for days? Nobody was able to go in there and check on him if he
He
was
said
in
he
the
was
garage.
coming right back, so that means they should have went and checked on him
Yes.
that
And
night.
then when he missed
He
the
might have
meeting the
been all
next
right.
morning, that was another sign. Like, I'm going over to his house. I'm getting in his house. It would have been overnight that he was missing. It wouldn't have been days. It probably not. If you tell me you leave and you'll be right back, and then you don't come back, and you don't call, I'm coming to look for you. Right then and there.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's sad because he was 19. He was young. He was a baby. Wow. Oh, that's sad. That is a sad story right there.
Yeah, something like that by itself. That's why, man.
Wow.
I mean, it can happen to anybody, I guess, but dang,
Oh. Wow.
cool.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
So now you said we got to do that.
Rico. They say you
Rico.
got to do the Rico. I think they said it's like parts 1 through 3 or something like that. I think I
Oh, it's
saw.
a, like story.
Yeah, but
All right.
good one.
Thank
Sad,
y'all.
Sad, sad.
Yeah, let us know what y'all think about this. It's crazy.